Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. I am Vishal Menon and welcome to this new episode of Now Bingeing. So in today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing a movie called Lisaa. Now Lisaa released a couple of months back, but I couldn't watch it then. But the movie is now out on Z5 and I had the absolute pleasure of watching it last night. So let's get started. Remember a long time ago, all these big horror films would announce a huge reward for anyone who can sit through the entire film in the theatre. I too watched Lisaa alone last night and I too have an award to announce. Now we can't afford to pay you in lakhs, but I promise you that I'll at least take you out for a cup of ragi malt if you were to sit through this movie alone. Because you will need it. I mean, it's the least I can do given what you're going to be going through after you're done watching this movie. Because Lisaa is a film that gets even its opening shot wrong. So when the film opens, we hear the Suprabhatham playing in the background as Lisaa's mom shouts to wake her up. As Lisaa struggles to open her eyes to wake up on that particular day, we also get a shot of her face. I mean, it's supposed to be 7 o'clock in the morning, right? But you should see the amount of makeup on her face. You'd think she's getting ready to go clubbing. The scene that follows isn't much better either. See, it's very common in our movies to initially get a dialogue which actually doesn't serve a lot of purpose. But we get the general idea of the family and the dynamics because the dialogue is there. But in most movies, at least there's an effort that's taken for the dialogue to seem as though one person is talking to another. But in this film, we get a dialogue that sounds so blatantly basic that you know for a fact that it's the mother talking to the audience and not her daughter. So the mother gets to tell her lines that sound like, உனக்கு 2 வயசு இருக்கும்போதே உங்க அப்பா இறந்துட்டார். I mean, come on, she's 23 years old. She knows her father died a long time back. So the basic plot of this film is about how Lisaa wants to meet her grandparents because she wants their permission to get her mother remarried again. So for this, she and a college junior decide to travel to the Western Ghats to find her grandparents and seek their approval. Now naturally, because we know that this is a scary movie, the grandparents live in a really scary looking house. Now this house is designed in such a way that it has a place for every single horror movie cliche in the world. There are handprints on the windows, there's scratch marks on the wall, there is a rocking chair, there's a creaky floor, and of course a lot of nook and corners for ghosts to jump out of. And naturally, things start getting a lot scary when Lisaa decides to break her grandfather's no getting outside the house after 10 p.m. rule. But what if I tell you this is not what's actually scary about the movie? Running parallelly is a completely disconnected comedy track involving Brahmanandam, who takes no effort whatsoever to even seem like he's supposed to speak in Tamil. And of course, there's also another parallel comedy track involving Yogi Babu, Anjali, and the other guy. By now, if you haven't already realized, this movie is supposed to be a cheap ripoff of M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, just that it gets everything wrong from that film. If the original was all about how two young kids go to live with their grandparents in a really spooky mansion, this film is totally different. For one, they're adults. And another thing, it just doesn't seem like they can't escape from this house. Of course, the grandparents act weird in this film too, and they walk around like zombies. But they just don't seem strong enough to take on Lisaa and her friend who lives there. The jump scares are lovely, there's very little mystery, and we never really get the feeling that we are trapped in this house. Which is when we realize that this is not supposed to be an M. Night Shyamalan movie. What if I tell you that this film actually wants to be a Karan Johar movie? Because in the end, despite the ghosts and the crazy grandparents, all the film wants to say is one line. It's all about loving your parents. Now all the preachiness in the last 20 minutes of this movie, that was the only time I was genuinely scared for myself. So that's it for my review of Lisaa. Like I said before, if you manage to sit through this movie, I promise you a cup of hot ragi malt. So if you like this review, please hit like and subscribe to Film Companion South.